Boris Johnson says, no if, no buts. We're going to have a Brexit by October the 31st. You've worked with him. You know him very well. Do you think that's deliverable?
Yes, it's deliverable. Obviously, it does depend on the raw politics. At the moment, the Prime Minister has proposed a deal. Unlike previous Prime Minister Theresa May's deals, this one appears likely to pass the UK Parliament if, therefore, the EU agrees to it. And that's the big question. Now, in economic and financial terms, it would make a lot of sense, in my mind, for the EU to agree to Boris Johnson's proposal. The question is whether the politics will deliver that, and that's what we have to wait and see.
It's almost flipped around. Theresa May couldn't get it through Parliament, but could get it through the EU. We now have exactly the opposite situation.
Absolutely, yes.
Let's talk about no-deal Brexit.
Yeah.
The language that is used around no-deal Brexit is very harsh. It talks about no-deal Brexit being almost a calamity. That's not your assessment.
Look, I think it's important for international investors to realise that Brexit is a great opportunity for the UK. It's a great opportunity to reboot the UK economy. Ideally, we should leave with a deal, and indeed, I think that's the most likely scenario. But were we to not have a deal, then rather to let this linger on, then a no-deal or clean break becomes likely. Now, I've pointed out that a no-deal is difficult for those firms in integrated supply chains, like the auto sector, pharmaceutical sector, farming sector. But with a no deal, it's very opaque at the moment. It's all about, at the end of the day, how much preparation has been made, how the EU will react. And of course, if we were to have a no deal, then there would likely be a significant stimulative policy response in the UK, positive for the supply side and the demand side. So really, a deal is the most likely scenario, but a no deal, there's been lots of misplaced fears, is clearly disruptive, because we haven't probably had enough time to prepare for it. But as the previous governor of the Bank of England, Mervyn King, pointed out back in March, people are over-fearing a no-deal scenario too much.
You are still one of the bookies' favourites to be the next governor of the Bank of England. If we are to exit, if there is to be a Brexit,
yes,
does the next governor of the Bank of England need to believe in Brexit? Does the next governor of the Bank of England need to be a Brexiteer?
Well, I think the next governor of the Bank of England, as indeed any key policy maker in the UK, needs to see the great opportunities associated with Brexit. To make a real repositioning of the UK economy, you need to get three areas right. It's like three legs on the stool. Each needs to carry their weight. Fiscal policy, the whole supply side agenda, basically rebooting small, medium-sized firms, attracting foreign direct investment into the UK. And the third leg on that stool is monetary and financial policy. So I think we need to see Brexit as a great opportunity. That is the case, whoever's at the bank, but also in whatever senior position in terms of UK policy making.
And that requires a reboot of the Bank of England?
Well, I think it's a great opportunity to reassess the remit. In America, the remit of the Fed is under investigation or under sort of examination, shall we say. Central banks have done a very good job over the last 9 or 10 years. After the financial crisis, monetary policy globally was synchronized, it was sizable and it was successful. But now we need to look at monetary policy and re-examine the remit, whether there needs to still be an inflation target or a money GDP target. Has the regulatory pendulum swung from one extreme of too light to the other extreme of too tough? I think it's important to recognise this is not a case of saying things are wrong. I think the Bank of England has done a very good job. But what we need to really do is recognise the great opportunity in terms of Brexit, but also the key roles that can be played by all parts of UK policy making.